So today we're going to learn about the 5 Tibetan rites. Ancient folklore says the monks do this every morning in multiples of 7, 14, or 21. Keeps them healthy, strong, living a long life. So we'd all like that, I guess. So you don't have to do multiples of 7. I really think that's just whatever, not necessary. Try to get 7, find what works for you, and maybe baby step it up. 7, 8, 9, 10. Maybe in a couple months you'll be doing 14. So just another one of your options for morning exercises. So here we go with the 5 Tibetan rites with a twist. Okay, begin standing tall in your mat, arms extended out to the sides. Nice tall posture, and turning clockwise 7 times. If you tend to get dizzy, try to spot with your head. Make your head just turn twice. If you still get dizzy, stop completely. I did this for several months before I was able to do 7. I tend to get vertigo, but not anymore. This helps. Believe it or not, spinning in a circle helps. We are aligning our chakras. It's all about the energy. After each of the 5 Tibetan rites, you take 2 deep breaths, focus on something straight ahead, just savor the effects of the exercise on your body, and get ready for the next one. The next one is an abdominal exercise. We're going down to the mat, lying flat on your back. First, I'll show you how it goes. It's much like a V up, if you've been hanging around the gym. Inhale, lengthen your spine. Exhale, legs come up, arms come up. Abdominals go into the spine. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale, lift. If this creates any pain in your lower back or it's too hard to get your legs up, bend your knees. Just lightly tap your toes down. Try to get your shoulders off the mat. If the arm part hurts your shoulders, keep your hands so your elbows are straight out from your shoulders, or gently cradle your skull. So we have variations. I think that's about 7. Pausing for 2 deep breaths. The next one is a camel. Camel is a yoga pose. We start nice and tall on the knees, sliding your fingers down the back, lifting your heart to the sky. Be careful not to let your hips push forward. Shoulder blades reaching down with the tailbone. My buddy's on the other side of the fence. You notice my nose is red. It's getting cold. You might not see very much more of my patio here. 2 deep breaths. Okay, the next one. In a seated position with your legs extended out in front of you. I'm gonna bump. Pressing the palms of your hands down beside your hips. If this is difficult, put a pad or a pillow under your bum, or just lean back a little bit. That's okay too. Keeping your spine long, keeping your legs long. Press away with your heels. We're gonna roll right up onto our feet, lift our hips, and lift the rib cage as high as you can. Stay lifted up out of your shoulder joints. When you come down into your seated position, be careful not to round your shoulders forward. Keep your chest lifted at all times. Yeah. Okay, if this is difficult, you're going to come all the way down to the mat and do a bridge. Whichever one you choose, whichever one works for your body, make sure that your knees stay in line between your ankles and your hips, and you're working your glutes and your back muscles to lift your body up straight, and your abdominal muscles are staying contracted when you lift. That should be about 7. 2 deep breaths. Stay on your back. So if you were doing the advanced version of the previous move, you may have noticed a lot of work in the wrist joint. I incorporated the twist movement at this point in the exercise so that your wrist could have a break. So your arms are going to go out like a scarecrow, unless you have a potted plant in the way. You can have them like a goalpost. Shoulders stay down, that's the important thing. Elbows and shoulders down, chest wide open, knees are bent. We'll begin this exercise with the toes touching the ground. Push your knees over to the right. Let your left foot ride up on your right. So don't let the knees slide apart. Keep them kissing each other. Bring them back up. So this is doable for most people. Feels like a nice stretch, and then you feel the side of your waist working. If you want to make it a little bit more difficult, you lift up your feet off the ground. The more you open the knee joint, the more difficult this will be. A 90 degree is a nice goal. More than that gets a little wacky. Extended legs. Remember windshield wipers. Wherever you are, however extended or open your knee joint is, check to see that your knees don't travel up to your chest. This is much easier and inefficient for what you're trying to accomplish. Keep the knees out over the hips. Finishing up here. That should be about 7. Shoulders staying down. And rest. Okay. Ready for the last, the official 5 Tibetan Rites. Coming all the way up to stand. As if we're going to do a salutation, we're going to come into a down dog. So find your favorite dog position here. Heels reaching down, tailbone reaching up. Head is hanging loose. And just bring it forward into an up dog. Whoop. Be careful that your shoulders don't go in front of your wrists. So watch your nose. Keep your nose right about to your thumbs. And then drop your hips and raise your chest. Drop your chest, raise your hips. A little bit harder, you can slide along here. But again, try not to let your nose pass your thumbs or you get into some nasty shoulder stuff. If this is difficult, drop to your knees and come to your up dog like this. Notice my feet sometimes flap out. The up dog, ideally, we get a deep stretch in the front of the ankle by uncurling our feet. I think that's about 7. We'll just do one more just for good luck. Okay. That is the 5 Tibetan Rites with a twist. Namaste. Wow.